They want government to be the authoritarian and put its rule, put its thumb, put its fist down on people. Republican Party doesn't want that. The Republican Party of now is a party of freedom of the individual. And that's why the left, the fascists, and that's why the white nationalists don't like them.
And that's why the Republicans can't get together, because everybody's so individualized.
Exactly. Exactly. Famous Republicans joining me now, my very good friend, former state representative, current presiding commissioner of Clay County, none other than Jerry Nolte. Jerry, welcome to the Tim Jones Show.
Thank you, Tim. It's great to hear from you again.
And Jerry, I told Ken, I didn't spill the beans, but I told Ken and the audience that you have a very special talent that we need to engage you on, and perhaps you could do a Tim Jones caricature I could hang up behind me for the show. Big microphone.
I could do that, Tim. That would be no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, folks. So Jerry not only is an esteemed and very accomplished public servant, but he has quite the talent in the art world. He would do caricatures of everybody in the house, Republicans, Democrats, the clerks, whatever. And his drawings were phenomenal. I still have some from back in the day. So a man of many talents, Jerry Nolte is. So Jerry, Jerry, I can't avoid the headline news today with any of my guests, and I know that you join with me in condemning what happened in Charlottesville. As a leader over there on the western side of the state in Clay County, I know you have to deal with difficult situations from time to time, and I think you agree with me that what happened this weekend is nothing that the Republican Party stands for or ever has stood for, in my knowledge.
No, the thing is, we are certainly the party of open government and open ideas, and the idea that people turn to violence is something that is just not acceptable to the Republican Party. I think we are very much wanting to hear everybody have their opportunity to exercise their free speech respectfully and in a way that we can all come together on.
Absolutely, Jerry. I couldn't agree more. So, Jerry, after you left the Missouri House, after you served 8 years, term limits set in on you like they do on everybody else, and you decided that you loved the abuse so much that you were going to go back home and do it full time, right? So,
that was, and in fact, that's something that I've noticed is something of a trend, and that is those of us who served in the House or Senate and still have an appetite to serve the people find some very fertile ground in local government and try to bring some of the skills that we learned in Jeff City and some of those conservative approaches to government to local government.
And Jerry, you and I talked about this the other day when I called you. We hadn't talked in years, I think, and you had reached out to me and heard I got a radio show. You thought that was great, and so we talked a little bit about what we each been doing. And you were telling me something that I've heard from other folks, other conservatives, how important it is for us to get involved in our local governments, whatever system that may be, because for a long time, I think Republicans, conservatives, we kind of ignored local governments, and that was a big mistake.
Really, because the thing is, local government is that level of government closest to the people. It's much more hands-on. You have the chance, the opportunity to really interact with citizens and understand what their issues are because you are right there on the scene. And hearing what they have to say is the only way to do the job right.
Jerry, I noticed as well. I've been following you. I noticed that you continue to be someone who believes that the people are the best users of their money, not the government. And I remember this from my House days. It was something you always preached. You were big on tax reform and tax cuts. And I noticed that over in Clay County, you've been proposing tax cuts over there. And so I guess my question is, as someone who's been in public service now for over a decade, and you've seen budgets, and as a commissioner, there's what, Jerry, 3 of you? 3 commissioners?
3 commissioners, correct.
Yeah, so you have to do a lot, and it's a full-time job, and probably thankless a lot of days. But you're more than neck deep in budgets and budgetary policy and economic policy in general. Why do you believe tax cuts are a good thing for government to have? And why do you continue after all these years to be such a proponent for them?
Well, there's 2 really reasons for that, and thank you for that. You and I both worked on House Bill 76 back in 2015, which eliminated a business tax, and that is very important because businesses are going to put that money to work. Private enterprise is the only way to create jobs, and I've been pushing the idea of doing a tax decrease in fact, to eliminate the county's general property tax because I believe we can do this without impacting basic services. The other reason I think that we need to be decreasing taxes and holding the line is we as a government, as a local government, we need to focus on law enforcement and we need to focus on roads and bridges. And we should have enough money to do that, and we should not have extra money to where we can go in directions that it's not appropriate for government to go in.
Jerry, I noticed as well, and this dovetails very well into this, because you're someone who believes in having, good government, but government that's lean and mean and does a few things but does them well and allows people, business owners, employees, workers, businesses to have more money in their pockets by not taxing them to death. So that's resulted in the fact that I noticed that Clay County is the fastest growing county in the Kansas City area in terms of employment. And that's raw numbers, not just percentages. So what do you attribute that to? You're probably going to say, fiscal, of course, but what all do you contribute Clay County being the fastest growing county in that area?
A lot of it has to do with, and you can't help but say this, private enterprise. The Clay County EDC has done a great job of communicating the needs and facilitating what businesses need to be able to flourish in Clay County. The metaphor I use is government can set the table by having lower taxes, reasonable regulations, but the real meat and potatoes, the real meal as far as economic development and job growth comes from private enterprises and the folks and the men and women who get out there and start businesses and employ people and create prosperity.
Jerry, we need to have you over here and give like a keynote speech to the St. Louis RCGA and the county government and the city government, because what you just said there in a nutshell, they don't do, but they should, because I think they think if they just make another program or spend a little bit more money here and a little more money there, raise taxes here or there, that's going to do it. But you just gave the answer as to how counties and cities can grow.
I believe so, and like I say, we have to have faith. We are in a free enterprise system, or at least we try. We're not at where we need to be, but we are in a largely free enterprise system, and we have to trust the system of free enterprise, and we have to trust the system of our democratic republic to be able to bring that prosperity and not tinker with it too much.
Jerry, another thing I noticed that you push for, you really do literally put your money where your mouth is, and you believe that government should it's something I preach all the time, should be transparent and accountable. And tell me what measures you. Again, I think you're someone as a presiding commissioner of Clay County. I think you have a lot of lessons that folks over here could learn from. So, what have you been pushing on the transparency and accountability part of the world?
Well, when I first got elected, one of the things, and it was in cooperation with my other two commissioners, we got with our old friend Carl Bearden.
Yeah.
And we became the first county to participate in the transparency portal, which I think is a good start, but it's only a good start. We need to expand transparency and accountability to the people of our county, because they're the ones who pay the bills. They're the ones that we work for.
Awesome, Jerry. As we wrap up here, I wanted to give you an opportunity to. If there's maybe some of our current colleagues listening to us in state government, or maybe there's some leaders over here in the county or the city, and they want to know, well, how is Clay County being so successful? How what are they doing? How can folks follow you? I mean, do you do social media at all? Do you do Facebook? Do you do Twitter? How do you communicate to folks?
Yes, I do. I have a Facebook account, Jerry Nolte, Clay County Government. If you put that in the little window, that should take you to my page. And I use that to not only communicate, but it's a great opportunity for people to be able to say what's on their minds. So by using Facebook, I'm also starting a Twitter account. I'm trying to catch up to technology, but I'm an old guy, so it takes me a little while.
You're doing a good job, my friend. Jerry, one last question. So back to where we started, with folks either coming out of the state legislature and going back home, or just someone wakes up and says, "I want to get involved." What would your advice be for someone who wants to get into local government? How do they need to prepare?
I think what you do is that we have a lot of commissions and committees and boards that do different functions within the county government. Most of them are volunteer. In fact, they're all really pretty much volunteer. But you can get into an area where you have a passion, whether it's a disabilities board, the seniors board, and you can actually start being hands-on involved and really make a difference in your county government. and it's accessible to anybody. Anybody is welcome. In fact, we are always looking for more volunteers, more good people to be engaged. But I'd say the best thing to do is vote, is to watch your elected officials, hold us accountable, and attend those open meetings when we are doing your business, because we do a much better job when the boss is watching.
Awesome. That's Jerry Nolte, the presiding commissioner of Clay County, my good friend. And Jerry, I'm serious. We're going to have to commission you for the Tim Jones Show caricature. How's that?
Well, I think that's good. That'd be a lot of fun, Tim. I really like that.
I'll have to get you back over here to St. Louis. Hey, Jerry, have a great week over there on the western side of the state, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Tim. I'll be talking to you.
Have a good night. That's Jerry Nolte, presiding commissioner of Clay County. Always good to hear from the old colleagues. He's a great guy and someone to emulate. And he's a Republican.
Hey.
A happy Republican. Got a couple of happy conservatives here. Tim Jones will be back on the Tim Jones Show, FM News Talk 97. We got lots and lots and lots of media malpractice next.
This is the Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, and AM 1490. Or streaming live at 971talk.com and the 97.1 mobile app.
Dependable weather.
Clouds take control today. Chance of a couple of spotty
with Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.